So this is now our binge report. Binge report, we talk about, again, movies, TV shows that we've been watching, that we've been doing this week. Specifically, usually new releases or things that are just being talked about a ton. I'll go ahead and start here. So I've seen a lot. I'm at 101 new releases for 2025. I've got a few more in this week. So first, I saw The Roses finally. This is one I was looking forward to a lot, actually, when the trailer came out. What?
I said why?
I thought we were all looking forward to it. And the trailer looked fun. Like, I thought it looked fun. I mean, you got Benedict Cumberbatch and I can't remember her name, but
Olivia Colman.
Olivia Colman. Like, I love them. And I think the idea looked fun. Like, I was really looking forward to it. So finally being able to watch it, I was excited. It wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. Too long, way too much going on, way too much time spent in certain elements of the movie. This movie feels like it has 5 acts, honestly. Like, there are so many sections to the movie. There is. Cut out a lot, and you got a better movie here. I think at peak, though, it could be a 4 out of 5, even if you cut out a lot. Like, I think even if you put the story with everything that's there, if you cut out enough to make it a well-paced movie, I still don't think it ever gets above a 4 out of 5 for me. I don't think it's quite done well enough when it comes to the narratives it wants to get across. I think it's trying to be a dark comedy, and it is a dark comedy. But it sometimes it does that well, sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
So it's just kind of a mixed bag there. Overall, I did enjoy it. I had a good time with it, but not one I'd want to rewatch again. Benedict's funny and Olivia Colman's funny. Like, the cast is super funny. They all have a good time. Yeah. I laugh at moments. It is dark. It ends wild. Yeah. Not what I expected. No. It's like all that stuff works from time to time, but just too much going on in the movies.
I don't think I knew what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Not what I wanted to be. 3.5 out of 5.
You gave it 3.5. I gave it 3.
Yeah. And I'm on a low 3.5. Like, it's not one I'd ever rewatch again. No. I still, overall did enjoy it, but
yeah.
Next up, I watched Splitsville. This is a movie that came out this year with Dakota Johnson, Adria Arjona, and our 2 guys. I don't know their names, but one of them's the director and writer, or both of them write and one directs. I can't remember. Kind of a unique project, though, because they write and direct it and they star in it as well. It's got like a 3.4 average on Letterboxd. I gave it a 3.5.
Nice.
I think overall, now this is a high 3.5 for me. Like, The Roses was a low 3.5. This is a high 3.5. I do think that there's a good gap between this and The Roses. Splitsville is something that I actually could rewatch again, which usually means it's a 4 out of 5. I do think there's just some little nitpick things that I didn't like about the movie that bring it down to a 3.5, but I think it's got enough really funny, outrageous moments that do make it enjoyable enough on a rewatch, if that makes sense. Kind of like Naked Gun.
Okay.
And yeah, the cast is good. And then it ended better than I thought it would end, to be honest.
Nice.
I did think it ended well, but I just don't think it hits the narratives it wanted to hit as well in the perfect way, and not everything works in it, and it is also a little too long. Some of these movies nowadays, I feel like directors are trying to put in these 2-hour movies that don't need to be we can go back to the times of making movies at 90 minutes. Yeah. That's okay.
Gosh.
And I think sometimes these movies halt themselves just because of that. So anyways, 3.5 out of 5 on that, but a high enough 3.5 that I would actually rewatch it again with friends, like people specifically that I could laugh with. It was fun.
Nice.
Inception, I also watched. We could both talk about this really quick. This is one neither of us had seen in a long time. We're lucky enough to have a movie theater basement that makes it fun to watch some of these types of movies again. It was a blast. 5 out of 5 movie. It's just every time I watch it, I feel like I'm reminded of just how perfect and masterful it is. It's amazing. Leonardo DiCaprio gives one of his best performances.
Oscar worthy.
Totally Oscar worthy. I know it's going to be an underrated performance because it's in the sci-fi epic, but it's totally one of his best performances.
Yep.
Everybody in the cast delivers. It's just wild. It's authentic. It's creative. It's unique. It's real. It's got everything. And it's yet emotional again. And this is something I've been surprised by as I've been getting older and more mature in film. I'm seeing more emotional connections in Nolan's films that I never noticed before. Inception Inception and Interstellar never used to be movies that felt heartfelt to me in any way as a kid. I just thought they were cool. Now I watched Interstellar last year and I'm like, wow, this movie made me cry. I watched Inception, didn't make me cry, but it actually has these heartfelt messages that I'm like, wow, Nolan does deliver some great narratives in these movies that are epics, So anyways, 5 out of 5 for me on that one. Do you want to share anything on it?
Yep, 5 out of 5. I mean, enough said. There's not much more I need to say. I haven't seen it forever, but it's always been one of my favorite movies of all time, and it still is. I still have it as my number 1 Nolan film. Nolan's just goated. Leo, I think, deserved an Oscar for it. If you haven't seen it, you're crazy to go watch it. And
Totally.
it's a masterpiece. It's one of the best movies of all time. So
Give you a little funny thing, and I don't know if you noticed this, but so my wife is somebody who can get bored with a movie really easily, and she's not as much of a movie person as we are. But like, and that night we were starting it a little late. She didn't have work the next day. She gets up really early, but she didn't have work the next day, so like she could have stayed up late. She normally doesn't. She goes to bed usually around 9. But we started it, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll watch like the first 30 minutes." She stayed the whole movie.
Yeah,
Stayed
she
through
was
the
locked
entire
in.
thing. This is a long
Yeah.
movie. And I asked her about it today, actually, because I kept forgetting to ask her about it. And she was like, well, yeah, I started it. And I was like, I can't stop. So that tells you how peak this movie is, because she's not somebody that like
It's true.
is going to sit down for a movie all the time. She's just not that type of person. She also gets bored with movies really easily. She hops on her phone really easily.
Yeah.
Doesn't do that through this whole film. Was going to watch 30 minutes. Stayed up till like 11:30, 2.5 hours later than she normally does.
Yeah.
Because it was Inception.
Good point.
So that tells you how great this movie is. And it's 2.5 hours long. So
Wild.
next I watched another 2025 release called A House of Dynamite. It's a Netflix original. It just dropped this week. Pretty chaotic, wide range of thoughts on this movie across the board for everybody. People have been going all over the place with it. If you could click on it for me. I think right now it's 2.9 out of 5 average. But like when you look at its chart on Netflix or on Letterboxd, it's just got a wide range of between 2 and 4. Like there's just a huge amount of reviews in that 2 to 4 range. Wide range of cast here, like huge cast. It's got a lot of people: Idris Elba, Rebecca Ferguson, like all these different people. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I'm right on the average. It's one of those films that, like, for me at least, I like chaotic films, even if they're about topics that are stupid. Like I can be easily intrigued by a movie that's just chaotic. And this movie is about a chaotic event, obviously, with nuclear war. So not that I support it in any way, but yeah, it's just like I'm easily intrigued by something that's chaotic. I just am. And so like I overall had a good time with this movie. That's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 5.
Cool.
But what I will say is the first act of the movie is phenomenal. Really great political thriller stuff. And it peaks at this climax in the first act where you're just feeling everything, and like it's so good. But then its problem lies right after that, where it does this, and it does this 2 times throughout the movie. It then reverts back to telling that same time frame that you just saw in the first act 2 more times from different perspectives of different characters involved in this scenario. Yes, it's a cool idea, and I get why they're doing the idea specifically with this, because it's the government. They want to show these how like different people are reacting to it and all that kind of stuff. But it totally took away from my feeling. And just like they say, when you rinse and repeat things, there's less and less of an effect, right? Like I'm at peak climactic feeling watching this movie after the first act ends with where it ends at. And then the second time we run through that whole scenario again, I feel it way less, because I've already gotten like it's like your brain naturally is sitting there going, well, I know where we're going to end again. You know what I mean? So like, it's just, there's not as much of, and then it ends again. You're like, oh, we're not getting what the after effect again. And we're going back to another perspective. And it's just like your brain starts to become detached and uninterested, because you're just reviewing the same things, even though it's different characters, reviewing the same things over and over again. One thing I respected about the film at the beginning was that it feels really authentic and realistic, but it does fall into its trap of then having a couple overly dramatic moments. I think it's a movie that really wanted to be and feel authentic, unique, and real, like realistic. But it still fell into a trap later in the film of doing these extra dramatic things that really probably aren't realistic. So to me, that's where its faults lie in its second and third act, which dropped the score obviously a ton, because overall I really enjoyed it. And the first act is phenomenal, makes you think it would at least be a 4 out of 5. But I'm dropping all the way down to 3, and I've seen other people do this as well, just because it's got these faults and problems. And then the ending specifically, this is going to be a hot topic, and please share in the comments, but everybody's having problems with the very end, because the ending of each moment, you never get the after effect of it. So you got this climactic moment at the end of the first act that feels so engulfing, and like you're wanting to see what's going to happen, and you never get the after effect. and director. They've done so many interviews about this because it's such a hot topic, because everybody's like, this is stupid. Like, why aren't they why are they ending the movie here? And there was an interview where it was pretty funny. There's an interview I watched today where you could tell the interviewer was trying to ask it in a way that made it seem like they liked it, but they wanted to hear the director's thoughts on it, but you could tell they didn't. The interviewer was like, so this movie ends a pretty abrupt way, and I gotta be honest, I was like, what the heck? Why are we ending here? And he kind of laughed. You could tell he was trying to make it sound like he wasn't that mad about it, but like everybody is. So he asked them that, and they were like, well, yeah, I think that's the whole idea of it, though, is to leave it open-ended and ambiguous so that you're the one making the ending. I get it. And specifically with this type of movie about nuclear warfare and all this stuff, like I do see why they did it. But if you're going to take the risk and swing already of doing a movie about nuclear warfare, which hasn't even quite happened yet, right? So you're doing something about a really hot subject that has a lot of opinions, a lot of views, and you're already taking that swing. I know it's adventurous and crazy, but you probably need to just go full swing and give out a whole story here. Because I know that's probably just really tricky, and it's probably something that studios are like, oh, I don't know, like this could come back to bite us if we tell it a certain way or tell it with certain characters as the villains or something like that. But again, like if you're going to make the movie, you probably need to like follow through with your story at least a little bit. Yeah.
There's certain movies that works for it to end it ambiguous and it's great. And then there's some you're like, no, just end it in a way that tells the story good, you know?
Exactly. So 3 out of 5. There's a lot to talk about with that one, and it's a hot subject. I would love to hear all of your thoughts on it, but
debate them.
And then Anemone. This is the last 2025 release I saw this week. It's the one with Daniel Day-Lewis, directed by Ronan Day-Lewis's son. It's Ronan Day-Lewis's directorial debut, and it's Daniel Day-Lewis's return to acting after being in retirement. Everybody was really hyped about this film because Daniel Day-Lewis was coming out of retirement. It's his son's first film
coming out of retirement.
It has been extremely mixed. There's a lot of respect for it, though. That's the one thing I will call out. Everybody that's even like giving it these mixed mid reviews is still giving a lot of respect to Ronan, because for his directorial debut, he didn't just take on something that was cliche and easy, like something that would be an automatic 3.5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, you know, that may get to some people more than others and make it easy directorial debut. This is a big swing, and it's something that's really fully character driven, and so that's very hard to do. It's just extremely hard to do character driven movies. You got to have good dialogue that's constantly intriguing, and you got to pull people in. And this movie tries to do a lot of what like Before Sunset or Before Sunrise does, where it's constant talking and dialogue. But again, that's why it's just such a gift to be able to do that, because like Richard Linklater can lock you in with dialogue like crazy, and that's why he's one of the GOATs. This is just something that's really hard to do, and I feel like production wise, this film's actually really top tier. I'm gonna give all props to Ronan, because visually it's stunning constantly. It's really creative, really beautiful. The backdrops are amazing. The acting is really good, obviously. You got a great cast here. So, like, it's got everything to be successful, except the telling of the story. Yeah. And that's a big piece of the movie.
Story's a huge chunk.
Exactly. So, because of that, my only thing would be, if you could have somebody else write the story and write the script, then I think this movie has a very high chance of being 4.5 out of 5, because I think everything else is there. But it doesn't have the story that's intriguing enough to keep it interesting. So I ended up at a 3 out of 5 or a 2.5 out of 5, one of the two. Kind of a disappointment, because you want more out of it, obviously, but again, I do respect Ronan taking the risk and the swing he did with trying to do this type of a story. So there's my binge report for the week. A lot of 2025.
Yeah, I mean, Inception was my only one. I watched a little of
Frankenstein's.
Yeah, I watched a little of Welcome to Derry.
Oh, tell us a little bit about
the
that.
first half of the first episode.
Because it's getting hype.
It was a crazy intro. I mean, I heard everyone talking about the intro of the first episode, and it was pretty whack. Really? I know you would have a stationary face during that.
Really?
I did. Yeah, it was just like, it's actually just bizarre. Like, it was just like absolutely bizarre. Like, it was just
like grotesque.
I couldn't even like you would never predict it. If I told you to predict how it was, you wouldn't. Like, it's just.
But isn't it a prequel too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's a prequel, but it's like, there's no Pennywise or nothing like that. You know, that's not a spoiler. He's not supposed to show up till like halfway through the show or something. But it is just like a scary thing, and I don't know if it's scary. It's just gross. It's just gross is what it is.
Dang. Okay.
And they just go right off the bat with that pretty much in the first like 10 minutes.
So they set the tone, which is a good thing.
Yeah, which is cool. So we'll see. I mean, it looks really pretty well produced. I mean, it's every Max show is, so whatever.
Everybody's hyping the show up like crazy.
Yeah,
right now,
so obviously I haven't seen the rest of it or the second episode, but it seems like it has potential. You know, I'm nervous. Like, yeah, I think It Too was like not a movie I liked that much. I liked It One a lot. So
It One's great.
You know, we'll see how this goes, and continuing the story with a prequel. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be pretty cool to get the prequel side of it, Pennywise and all that. So I'm down to keep watching more. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I can't give too much of an opinion, but I will say it was just a bonkers beginning for sure. That was like,
tell us your guys' thoughts.
Not even necessarily funny bonkers. It was kind of just like, I was like, that's the most random, bizarre thing you could think of to do, and you did it.
Oh gosh.
I don't even think it's based off a book. So
because I know there's lots of hype out there on it right now. Please tell us your thoughts on it if you've seen it already.
Yeah.
Tell us how hyped you are about the rest of the show and what you thought of the first episode.
That's it.
Yeah, and I was trying to think, did I miss any TV shows? But I think I'm a little behind on TV shows this week. So, anyways, yeah, I think that's it for our binge report.
All right.
Yeah, as always, please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you thought. If you disagree, agree, or if you want us to do other content about any other things, let us know. Please check out our full movie review episode if you haven't watched it yet about Frankenstein.